I'd like to now introduce the fifth speaker, and the phonetic spelling will hopefully be much better. Miss Kruttika Raman.
Hello everyone. Do you know which alcoholic drink is this glass used for? Can anyone say it loud for me?
Wine.
That's perfect. So today I'm going to talk about wine. I'm going to describe the components of wine and tell you about the 7 S's of wine tasting. So before I begin, you all would be wondering, what is in it for me? Like, why should I learn about wine? Someone who's not 21 would be like, I cannot even drink wine. Why learn about it tasting? But right now I'm taking a course, Wine Insights, on our campus, instructed by Professor Braxton from Department of Entomology and Dr. Gary Pavlis, who has been the past president of the American Wine Society. So think, before you graduate, you can take this course if you learn about tasting. And for those who drink wine, you can just tell why you love wine and what particular aspect of wine you love when you drink it. So as Galileo defines, wine is water held together by light. Wine is fermented grape juice or fermented grapes. The components of wine are water, which is the universal solvent of about 85 to 90%. Ethanol, which is the form of alcohol, only form of alcohol fit for human consumption, is from 7 to 14%. Ethanol gives the flavor to the wine. It makes it sour or crispy or tart, but it gives you that actual taste of the wine. Sugar is about 0.1 to 10%. It's a flavor enhancer, it's a preservative, and a sweetener for the wine. We have acids and tannins in wine for about 1%. Acids are it's the key ingredient which gives you the flavor of the wine, which people call it the kick in the wine. Tannins are the pigments which we can see, which are like blue, purple, or red color on the grape skin or any other fruit skin used to make the wine. So now that we know the components of wine, I'm going to teach you the 7 S's of tasting. So first, we hold the glass this way, 3 fingers, understand. We see the wine. Against white light, preferably, we obviously know the color, red or white. So first when we see, then we swirl it. Then we sniff it, sip it, savor it, swallow it, and score or describe it. So first when we see the wine, we see what is the color, red or white. Then we see how clear is the wine. Are there any deposits at the base of the glass? Because if they are, let me tell you, your wine is defective or the glass is dirty and you need to change both. If there are bubbles present in the wine, it's either a homemade wine or a sparkling wine. And if there are bubbles present otherwise, it is a defective wine again. You don't want to drink that. Then after we see that, before we sniff to swirl, we swirl that to see tears trickle down. It's basically the wine trickling down, but then we call them the tears or legs, and that tells the alcohol content in the wine. Thicker the legs, higher the alcohol content. So you know what you're drinking when you swirl it. We swirl it also to get the better smell, or what we call as the nose, because the volatile compounds are enhanced when they are swirled. So a nose can be something like an aroma. Think about a flower like rose, or maybe a fruit like strawberry, or any herb like eucalyptus. That's the aroma of the wine. And it could be oaky, giving the smell and sense of being like toasted in the oak barrel, or it could be smoky like coffee, or it could be nutty like hazelnut or almond. Like, you decide what it feels to you like. It's your familiarity and vocabulary which defines the smell. Every person has a different way of interpreting the smell of the wine. So after we see, swirl, and sniff, it's time to sip. It's time to drink the wine. We have 5 taste receptors: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, which is yummy. So when we sip the wine, if all the 5 receptors are sensitive to it, the wine is well balanced. You know you got very good wine because all your 5 receptors are working. Then we savor. We see how long does it leave the flavor in our mouth, and then we swallow. If you feel warm in our throat, or some people say hot in your throat, you know that the alcohol content and the acid content is high in the wine. So after we do that, we start describing the wine in our head. Description of wine is just like your transcript. The name of the wine, the year it was harvested in, the grapes were harvested in, which is called the vintage, the place it was grown in, just like maybe what your major is, and then you start describing what you see. What is the color? What is the appearance? Do you see any bubbles? Do you see any legs? Thick legs, thin legs? You just write about it. Then you write about the nose. Was it very fruity? Was it very sweet to taste, but then not so very fruity to smell? So you can describe the way you like. And then you like the finish. Was it more than 5 seconds that you had the finish in your throat? Or was it less than 5 seconds? Also, a good point to write is the price you bought the wine for, and a small asterisk which says what was the best thing about the wine you liked. So that tomorrow when you want to buy the wine for a party, you decide, maybe this goes better with pizza than that with steak, and you choose for your own self. So we know now that wine is fermented grape juice. The 7 S's of tasting are see, swirl, sniff, sip, savor, swallow, and describe. And as Friday night is here, I would just say, roses are red, so is wine. Fill my glass and I'll be fine. Cheers.